Good evening. My name is Lindsay Kolb, and I am on the MSU Talks committee. Thank you guys so much for coming out and supporting us for our famous keynote speaker tonight, Miss Nancy Allen. We've had a wonderful 5 months of planning this event, and we're really excited to finally showcase off our famous keynote speaker. We've had a great day of speakers touching on all three pillars of public affairs, and we're really grateful that you guys have showed up throughout the entire day, and especially to our keynote speaker. Finally, I'd like to thank each of our committee members that have worked so diligently on this event. David Lehigh, our chair, Jordan Upchurch, Tyler Mathenia, Kristen Meyer, and Taylor Clifton. Thank you so much for your dedication. If you guys could give us a hand. Thank you. And now on to our fabulous keynote speaker, Miss Nancy Allen, a famed and most popular professor in the General Business Department in the College of Business, Qdoba connoisseur, and author and queen of Twitter. Miss Nancy Allen captures the hearts of all she interacts with. She practiced law for 15 years, gaining her law degree from the University of Missouri, and also receiving her undergraduate degree in English education from MSU. She has served as the previous Assistant Attorney General in previous years as the Greene County Prosecutor. If you all would please welcome Miss Nancy Allen to the podium.
Oh my goodness, what a lovely reception. Let me carefully set my Diet Coke right there. Well, this is a wonderful reception, and thank you so much. But this is a weighty task, you know, a weighty task indeed, a Herculean assignment. I'm supposed to convey to you how we can change the world, and I'm up for it. I'm ready to weigh in, and I know you're ready. You are ready to do it. After all, the title of my speech is You Have the Whole World in Your Hands. But even though you got the whole world in your hands, it's true, I don't think I can presuppose that everyone in this room already knows exactly who he or she is, and exactly where you're going, and who you're going to turn out to be. Why? Because you are young. Oh my God, you are so young. And looking out at these fresh, young faces, I know that you are still in the midst of self-discovery. Who you are right now in this room may not be who you were 10 minutes ago. And your goals today may be totally different than your dreams and your goals down the road. How do I know this? Because I remember, that's how. I remember being in your very shoes in this very place. Because you all know I am a proud graduate of Missouri State University. Woo! Class of 1978. And when I enrolled here in 1974, I had a goal. I had a career goal, a dream. I wanted to be a movie star. Yeah. And I had a hero back then. I had a person that I admired, that I wanted to emulate. There was someone I wanted to be, and it was Janis Joplin. You know who she was. You know Janis Joplin. She was a rock star. She was a crazy Woodstock-era rock star. And in 1974, when she was my hero, she was already dead. Died of a heroin overdose in 1970. But I thought she was cool. I played my Janis Joplin record albums over and over on my little blue plastic record player. I'd play them over and over again. You know the songs, Me and Bobby McGee, you all know that one. Or, Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? That's a classic. Or how about Take It? Take another little piece of my heart now, baby. Break it! Did I tell you all I was in a band? I was in a band then. I was a vocalist, and I also played a musical instrument, the tambourine. It's a very difficult instrument to master, very difficult, but I did it. So, during this period, I was rocking along at Missouri State, kind of aimless, figuring out day by day that the movie star thing wasn't going to work out, and pretty sure that my rock star backup plan wasn't too solid either. And then I had it. The eureka moment. I was enrolled in persuasion class over in Craig Hall, and the professor was talking about Clarence Darrow. And Clarence Darrow was the most famous trial attorney of the 20th century. And the professor told us about how Clarence Darrow was the defense attorney in the Scopes monkey trial in 1925 when a school teacher was in trouble for teaching the theory of evolution in public schools, got in all kinds of hot water. So Darrow took the case because Darrow was the champion of the underdog. Clarence Darrow threw himself into cases where he believed injustice was being done. Darrow was a progressive. He used his talents to try and change the world. And while the professor told the story that day, fireworks went off in my head. Stars appeared before my eyes. I would go to law school. I would become Clarence Darrow, and I would change the world. Well, I did take the LSAT not long after that, and I went to law school, and I took the bar exam and became a trial lawyer. But I got to tell you, I got to be frank with you, I'm no Clarence Darrow. I never had a case like the Scopes monkey trial. I never argued before the United States Supreme Court. But I've lived a while. I am 58 years old. And something I've learned is this: you don't have to be Clarence Darrow to change the world. You don't have to be the President of the United States or on the U.S. Senate or a Supreme Court judge to reform and improve the world. The ethical citizen has the power to initiate and achieve social and political change. It is within our grasp. So, how can the ethical citizen change the world? Easy. Do the right thing. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. I know that answer is too pat. It's too simplistic. As somebody who just advises you to do the right thing and leaves it at that is selling you short. So I shall elaborate. To change the world for the better, you need to, number one, do the hard thing. Number two, do the unconventional thing. And number three, when you're right, when you know that you are right, don't take no for an answer. Okay, first, about the hard thing. Doing the hard thing. You know, when I was your age, I liked the easy thing. I did. I took the easy road. You know, when I was in undergrad at Missouri State, I cut so much class that they should have given my parents a refund on the tuition they paid. Which is really ironic now, since I require all my Law 231 students to come to class, and you're supposed to have perfect or near perfect attendance, as you recall. It's funny how that works out. But back in the day, that was not the life I led. My case in point, my terrible example, was PED 100. They call that KIN now, don't they? KIN 100, that thing in the gen ed, that PE class that everybody's got to take to graduate. When I enrolled in 1974, I didn't take PED 100 as a freshman because I thought, this is so stupid. There is no way that they're still going to require this class as a gen ed in 4 years. I shall ignore this. I was wrong. It's 40 years later, and they still require it. But anyway, so last semester in my senior year, I still didn't have PED 100, so I had to enroll. And I showed up, and I discovered very swiftly that PED 100 had a lot to do with running and weightlifting. And my two least favorite things were running and weightlifting. So I blew it off. I did not show my face. I took the easy way. Unfortunately, my grade in PED 100 almost kept me from graduating from Missouri State University. I had already been accepted to law school, but I wasn't going to be able to go because they weren't going to let me graduate because I had flunked PED 100. My advisor over in the English department had to go to the athletic department and beg on bended knee, please, please, let her graduate, let her get out of here. She did me a favor that day, but you see, the easy way got me in trouble. That's why I don't want you to do it. Now, then I went on to law school. Law school's harder than undergrad, I'll tell you. But still, the easy way. I liked to do the minimum. And I would pass by those hard-working law students in the law library as I made my way across the street to the old Heidelberg bar. And I would think, oh my God, I am having so much more fun than they are. Still the easy way. Well, I got out of law school. I went to the Greene County Prosecutor's Office. I was 25 years old, and I had a rude awakening there. I was a Springfield girl from a nice Springfield family, but all of a sudden, in the prosecutor's office, I was seeing Springfield in a different way. Because in criminal law, you see the criminal underbelly of the community through a magnifying glass. Now, if you have read my book, The Code of the Hills, they sell it at the paw print, also Barnes & Noble, or you can get it online as an ebook for a song. Anyway, if you've read my book, you know that I handled a lot of sex cases. They assigned me a whole lot of sex cases, including sex crimes against children. And in Greene County, we have a lot of sex crimes against children. Sad to say, the fact was then and still is that Greene County, Missouri has more crimes with children as victims, sex crimes against children, than any other part of the state of Missouri. And the case I cut my teeth on was the Montel case. Our office charged a man with sex crimes against his daughters. This man had 6 daughters. He was having sex with all of them. And I was introduced to the Montel case when they handed me the file and told me to go dismiss it. And I said, why? And they said, well, we had a witness who was important, and the guy didn't show up, and the case is unwinnable because all of the victims are mentally retarded. So here, go dismiss this. We can't make the case. Well, I did as I was told, but I went to court, and I was standing there with the defense attorney and the defendant, the criminal defendant, and I'm reading this list of horrible crimes that I'm supposed to dismiss. And I was overwhelmed by a feeling in my heart and in my gut that it was wrong. The prosecutor's office was doing the wrong thing. I was doing the wrong thing. So I ran off to the chief assistant, a great attorney named Bob Lewis, and I said, what's going on here? He said, hey, all the girls are in special ed. We had a supporting witness who would have made the case, but he skipped town. He said, this is going to be a hard case to make, but I wanted to try. And he said, okay. It was hard. All incest cases are hard because you got a child witness and you're pitting them against their own father in this intimidating environment of a courtroom. And after they testify on direct, then they have to have a battle of wits with a defense attorney in cross-examination. So it was hard as it could be. And you know, these girls were raised in the worst kind of poverty. Yeah, they were in special ed, maybe not so much of any organic mental problem as because of their environment and nutritional deficiencies. I had to work like hell to make that case, but I did it. Locked him up. It was hard, but the hard thing was the right thing to do, and for once, I did it. My next pearl of wisdom: do the unconventional thing. Now, this one's easier for me. By nature, I am unconventional. I was born that way. And having said that, though, not everything that's unconventional is necessarily the right and valuable and ethical thing to do. And here's a case in point: streaking. 1974. The spring before I started at Missouri State, streaking became a very popular activity on a national and local scale. For those of you who don't know what streaking is, streaking was taking off your clothes and running naked in public. Why? No reason. It was a thing, okay? It was a thing in 1974, particularly on college campuses. So my high school friends and I, we would all come over to Missouri State University because we wanted to watch the streakers, and that's where they were. So here we'd come onto campus and we'd go, there's one, there's four. The whole campus turned out. Throngs of people in front of the student union, all around the dormitories, waiting for the streakers. We weren't disappointed, and in the midst of all of this, I thought, maybe I should do it. It's so unconventional. I didn't. I did not. Fortunately, it's a good thing. I told you all how I don't like to run. Even back then, I run in slow-mo. I would have been the one that they caught and took off to jail. There is no question. And it wouldn't have served any purpose, you know? There wasn't any merit. There was no message. It was just a daredevil act. It didn't symbolize or promote any ethical message. But in high school, on another occasion, I did join up with a group of other high school girls, and we did the unconventional thing, and this is worth telling about. In 1973, Springfield Public Schools didn't have girls' sports. Nothing. No teams. No playing a sport against another school. At that time, the only activities for girls other than future homemakers of America was cheerleading or drum corps. And I had friends who were athletic. They were athletes. They wanted to run track. They wanted to play basketball, play volleyball. They wanted to be on the swim team. But the door was shut to them. I was not personally good at any of those activities, but I was a feminist, and I was also what the school administration in the 1970s called a loudmouth troublemaker. So, also, I knew in my heart that women in public schools ought to have the same opportunities as men. So we hatched a plot, an unconventional plot at the time. We drafted a petition that Springfield Public Schools should have a girls' sports program. We started circulating it at Glendale High School, and the principal heard about it, and he called us into his office and said, "Are you trying to make trouble?" And we said, We are engaging in our right of petition. Right of petition, it's constitutional right guaranteed to us by the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America. And he said, when you're through passing that around, you will bring it to me. We didn't like that idea. So we confab. We decided we'd take it to the school board instead. We got that little petition circulating in high schools all over town, and the next time the school board met, we showed up, and so did KY3. Now, I wasn't an athlete, but I was dandy on the speech and debate squad. So I made the pitch, presented the petition, and Lord, there was squabbling that night at the school board. There were some educators who actually really went on the warpath against us. But at the end of the evening, school board voted, and they voted in favor of our proposition, and that's when girls' sports started in Springfield, Missouri. The next year, they had competitive sports for all the women in Springfield high schools. It was a great day for doing the unconventional thing. Okay, final nugget of wisdom. Don't take no for an answer. When you're right, when you know in your heart and your gut and your soul that you are right, but the powers that be tell you no and close the door in your face and shut you down, don't take it. Keep on coming. The way that positive change has been made in our society has been by people who refuse to lie down, to sit down and shut up, who refused to take no for an answer. Famous example is one of my favorite court cases in U.S. history, Brown v. Board of Education of Topeka. I've already talked to my classes about this. It was filed in 1951 at a time when public schools in Topeka, Kansas were racially segregated. Missouri was too at that time. And so this case was filed in 1951. 13 parents in Topeka tried to enroll their children in the neighborhood schools that were closed to them on the basis of their race. The schools turned them away, told them no, said go to the segregated schools. But those citizens did not take no for an answer. They brought a class action lawsuit against the Topeka School District. They claimed that separate, segregated schools were a denial of equal protection under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. Now, the case was first heard in federal court, and there was a 3-judge panel who found in favor of the school district. Said segregated schools were A-OK, legal, constitutional. And they told the plaintiffs in the Brown case no. But those people kept coming. The Brown case, they kept coming. They appealed, and the case made it up to the United States Supreme Court, where it made history. In a unanimous decision, all 9 of the justices of the U.S. Supreme Court voted unanimously to end segregation in public schools. They said that it was unconstitutional, that it was a denial of equal protection, that separate but equal was inherently unequal and had no place in education. Brown won. School system lost. And society in America changed for the better because Brown refused to take no for an answer. Never underestimate the power you have to change things at the grassroots level. The Brown case had national impact. It changed the face of education in the United States. But it started over in Topeka, Kansas, led by a man who was a welder and a part-time pastor who had a 3rd-grade daughter that he wanted to attend the neighborhood school. You know, the thing that's healthy about our society is that we can reform it. You and me, we can reform it. We can see We can see needs that call for change, and we can take measures to alter our world for the better. And we have a duty to do it. The ethical citizen has a duty, an obligation to see the wrongs of our society and work to right them. So, where does that leave us? Here, in this room tonight. Well, it's possible that some person who is sitting in this room will be the Susan B. Anthony of the 21st century, or the next Martin Luther King Jr., or the next Gandhi. That'd be cool, be wonderful. But you don't have to pack the punch of Susan B. Anthony or Martin Luther King to change things in this world. The power to initiate and cement positive change rests in the hands of each of us. You don't have to be Clarence Darrow to do it. Just like you don't have to be Janis Joplin to sing Bobby McGee. All you have to be is fierce and fearless. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the whole world in your hands. Thank you.